welcome to another exciting edition of UD News with myself, Billy Gibula, and my partner,
Carl Russo.
Let's get down to business.
A 5.2 magnitude earthquake struck the Midwest early on Friday. It was centered in southeastern Illinois and was felt as far away as Chicago, St. Louis, and Milwaukee.
An Italian man was inside a supermarket, reaching up to a shelf when his pants split at the seam, revealing nothing but his bare bottom. Shoppers nearby screamed in horror, causing the police to rush to the scene and arrest the man on suspicion of committing an obscene act in a public place. He said that due to an obesity problem, he could not find underwear in his size. The judge dropped the charges, ruling that the man had not committed an obscene act. Well, that sounds pretty embarrassing. Has anything like that ever happened to you, Carl?
Well, yes, Billy, it happens more than I'd like to admit. A Michigan woman who advertised online for a hitman to kill her lover's wife pleaded guilty earlier this week. She faces up to 10 years in prison. She said she was looking for silent assassins and was willing to pay $5,000 for the job. They met while taking online college courses a few years ago, online college courses being the new hotspot to meet singles.
Pope Benedict XVI blessed a group of children with disabilities on Saturday, telling them it was a special joy to spend time with them. God has blessed you with this life, the pontiff told kids at Yonkers Seminary, just a few miles north of New York. On Saturday, Pope Benedict also celebrated Mass at the altar of St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York. And now to our reporter in the field, Ben Russo in London.
Here we are.
Thank you, Billy and Carl. That was really nice. I'm just here with my mate in Britain, and it's just like, man, I don't even know. It's like, it smells like.
No, it smells terrible.
I mean,
no, I don't know. I don't know what.
Like I thought after Billy used the restroom, it was bad, but I mean, this is like.
This is different. It's a different type of smell.
Completely different. I mean, it's like.
It's the worst. It's the worst I've ever smelled. I mean, it's worse than tempura. It's worse than tempura. It smells worse than
pretty
tempura.
bad. I mean, I don't even know. It's like, and the worst part was, it's like, who did it? I mean, it was like, at first they were blaming France. They were like, oh, it came from there. And then they were like, no, it actually came from Germany. And we're like, oh no, they're bombing us again.
Oh, that figures. Oh, right.
This time they're doing it with the bums, not with the bombs. You know what I mean? And then it was like, well, maybe it's actually the Dutch, like, because they're not allowed to spread fertilizer and like manure year round. Yeah, so they all had to do it in one go, and so it's like all that nastiness like came up off the fields into like a cloud, and then it just blew over it.
You just can't even go outside.
I mean, it's like you go out there, your eyes start burning. It's like, ow, my eyes are burning because it smells so bad. Just rip out my olfactory nerves, mate. It's like...
It's a travesty. No.
It's so bad. I mean...
No. There's no cure for it. I'll just, like... Yeah. No.
Hopefully once it rains it's supposed to go away. But, you know, who knows? Then maybe just the Thames will smell bad, you know? It's like...
The Thames. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's No. It's a bloody travesty. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
No, I've got half a month to go.
You know who I think it was? I don't think it was the French or the Germans. I think it was the Irish, because they're like, oh, we've got to get back.
Bloody Irish. It's been smelling bad in here ever since the Act of Union, 1801. Ever since Ireland became part of Britain, it smelled like poop. And now it smells
they're just
like
they come walking around in the streets and you just got them.
It's bloody Irish.
Man. It's like potatoes all over the place. Well, back to you, Billy.
Rotten potatoes.
Thanks, Ben. Night after night, commandos in U.S. Chinook helicopters descend into remote Afghan villages wielding M4 rifles as they swarm Taliban compounds. Such raids began in December in the Sabari district, long considered too dangerous for U.S. patrols, and have already resulted in the death or capture of 30 insurgent leaders in eastern Afghanistan, according to U.S. commanders. But though the commandos carry the best U.S. rifles, wear night vision goggles, and ride in armored Humvees, they are not Americans, but Afghans, trained and advised by U.S. Special Forces teams that are seeking to create a sustainable combat force that will ultimately replace them in Afghanistan. The creation of a 4,000-strong Afghan commando force marks a major evolution for U.S. Special Forces in Afghanistan. And now for something completely different.
This is a grizzly bar, and this is a lion, and this is what happens when a person who eats a grizzly bar meets a lion. Ah! And that's the power of a grizzly bar. Have you got the grizzle?
Chicago man who was locked away for 26 years for murder was granted a new trial and freed on bond on Friday with the help of 2 attorneys who came forward with a former client's confession after the man died in prison. The 2 attorneys recently revealed that their former client admitted to the murder that sent Alton Logan to prison, but attorney-client privilege had kept them silent. Logan has not yet been exonerated, but hopes to be cleared of the murder charges in his new trial. Logan has been able to sustain himself all these years by taking a piece of advice to heart.
Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling.
In Chicago, authorities say a toddler in a stroller nearly died when high winds blew him into the cold water of Chicago's Lake Michigan. The Chicago Fire Department says the 2-year-old boy's grandfather jumped into the harbor Friday afternoon in an attempt to save the child and had to be pulled from the water himself. Authorities say the boy was unconscious when he was pulled from the harbor after having been underwater for nearly 15 minutes. He was reported in critical condition at Children's Memorial Hospital. Fire officials say the grandfather was in fair condition at St. Joseph Hospital, where he was being treated for exposure. The grandfather appeared to be in his 60s.
In other news, the NBA playoffs started on Saturday.
Well, that's all the news we have for this week. For myself, Billy Gibula, and my partner,
Carl Russo.
see y'all around. Look at that Ted.
I know, it's something.
It almost looks like we're using some effect.
I know, it's so... Look at the difference. My arms look so stupid. Welcome to another edition. Okay, we're just gonna go because it's gonna look silly.
Jumped into the harbor Friday afternoon Okay.
So I keep forgetting the murder part. That's the most important detail. Like, why is he in prison? Murder. 26 years for murder. That was unnatural. Okay, do this again. Okay, so that makes
I shook my head for some reason.
Is that
People are gonna think that I take online challenges to meet people now. I'm like a creeper.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben. Gracias. Ben?
Gracias, señor.
How do you say Ben in Spanish?
Benjamin.